Welcome to the NOFSRL. Since 1950, Florence County, South Carolina has played host to some of the most thrilling stock car racing action in history. And here for the third time at this 1 1/3 mile speedway, the Trinity River Cup Series arrives for its third race here in Darlington. Welcome to the Darlington Raceway in Darlington, South Carolina. We're here for race number 11 on the season of 26 here in 2022. We arrive here at this egg-shaped racetrack for the third annual Turkey Hill Southern 500. It should hopefully be another classic here. We've seen some thrilling action in the first 10 races, and we're hoping for some more here for 74 laps today. Joined alongside Brennan Wilmington for the call of this race. Brennan, thank you for joining here. So, we've seen some thrilling action here at Darlington in the past 2 seasons of coming to this racetrack. What should we expect coming into this one?
Well, Darlington's one of those races that's kind of like a race of attrition. You're going to be riding right up against the wall for basically the entire race. You know what they say about Darlington? There's only about 1.5 lanes on this track, and unfortunately nobody comes here with half a car, but it should be very interesting to watch them go around this track and try and keep it out of the wall, try and avoid getting those Darlington stripes on the side. I'm sure we'll see plenty of those.
Yeah, we'll have to see if we do see any of those. But let's take a look at the top 10 of the points coming in. It's Nicholas Samadio still leading the point standings, but only by 8 now over Trey Wright after he struggled late at Dover. Kyle McLeese still third, 23 points now back of Nicholas Samadio. 37 back and up 4 spots in the standings. 2 fourth is Alejandro Cruz Jr. Will Parrish moved up 2 spots after Dover. He is 47 points behind Samadio there in the 5th position. In 6th, we find Ryan Durrani, who moved up 5 after Dover. He and Mitchell Henderson 1 spot back are 49 behind, Henderson falling 2 spots in the standings. Caleb Rose, 50 points back there in the 8th position. He gained 2 spots. Christopher Alphaby was the big gainer last week at Dover. He gained 5 spots. He and Brock Nelson are 58 points back of Nicholas Samadio. That is going to round out the top 10 in the points. Now let's go down trackside. We'll get you starting lineup. We'll get a pick from Brennan, and we'll get this race going here at Darlington. And the engines fire here at Darlington. 40 going to roll off from the pit road. It's Elijah Gordon on the pole, Phoenix winner earlier this year, starting alongside Mitchell Henderson in the 88 winner at Texas Motor Speedway. In row 2, we find Brock Nelson, teammate to Mitchell Henderson there in the 18, starting alongside the 59 of Kyle McLeese. In row 3, Ethan Lewis in the 54, starting alongside Season 3 champion of the series, Trey Smith. In row 4, we find Alejandro Cruz Jr., who's had some tremendous runs as of late, looking to continue to climb up in the point standings, starting alongside defending Scott's National Series champion, Dale Lightning. Rounding out the top 10, we find Mitchell Collins there, the 43, still searching for a 1 in the win column, starting alongside the 17 of Keegan Thompson. I believe we have everybody rolling off the pit road here. It does appear that we do. So, Brennan, let's go ahead and get a pick from you. Who do you think is going to go to victory lane here in the 3rd annual Turkey Hill Southern 500?
I'm going to go ahead and pick your defending champion, Trey Smith, the number 22. He hasn't won yet this season. I think his teammate Mitchell Henderson has. I feel like he's going to get his first win here today at Darlington.
And Henderson's the only Nelson Motorsports driver to get a win here. Trey Smith sitting in the bottom half. No, 17th in the point standings coming in, so not quite the bottom half. But he's looking to get back up into the fight for the championship. Pace car down the pit road. It's time to go green flag racing here at Darlington. The flag is waving. Let's get this show on the road in the Turkey Hill Southern 500. No change yet, ahead for the lead as Elijah Gordon leads lap 1, but McLeese going to change that, going off into turn number 1 for the first time here on lap 2. And McLeese is going to take the spot away. Henderson second, Nelson into third, Gordon slides wide from fourth. Everybody, well not everybody, but most of the front runners getting into a sort of a single file line. But the outside line, as you can tell, is just getting shuffled here early on. Trey Smith, unfortunately, stuck on the outside. But as they come around 4, you see Smith's going to get a launch off that top side. And you want to be up there coming out of turn 4. To get that launch off the top side, you might just hold off the car that's behind you. But up front, here comes Gordon going back after McLeese for that second position. Alejandro Cruz Jr. and Nelson side by side back there for fourth.
Mitchell Henderson actually made a pass on Kyle McLeese for the lead that we missed, and now the 88 is out front, and he's going to lead this lap. As McLeese runs second, now has Elijah Gordon, the pole sitter, underneath him, and Gordon will slide into second place. Alejandro Cruz Jr. also with a run, and Mitchell Collins coming with him. They're all going to try and get around the 59 of McLeese.
We've got a similar setup here with the overall settings of this race that we did in Season 2. And Season 2 was a crazy, crazy race. And we might see the same sort of action we saw then that we will here today. But it is Elijah Gordon who is now closing in on Mitchell Henderson. And we did miss the pass for the lead live. Apologies for that, but we'll try to stick that in the bottom corner in post-production. But Elijah Gordon catching up to the back end of the 88 as they have gapped third on back for the time being. But Elijah Gordon's going to make a move at the line going off into turn number 1, and the target car will go back to the lead here at Darlington.
We've already seen 3 passes for the lead in the first 6 laps. How about that, as the top 2 started to run away there, but now it looks like the rest of the field's going to end up catching them, starting with Alejandro Cruz Jr., McLeese and Collins still 4th and 5th, with the 46 of Christian Vargas in 6th.
Vargas still searching for his first career win here in the Trinity River Cup Series. He's raced this season and the season prior. Last season, I think he even finished last in the standings. But he's come close. Remember that Texas race that Mitchell Henderson won? Christian Vargas finished second, but lost the lead on the last corner pass from Henderson. Henderson was able to pull away and get the win in the Southwest Airlines 500. But here's Alejandro Cruz Jr. and Kyle McLeese still going at it. Collins, you see Vargas and McShane dive into the inside. They know that Cruz is not going to have that outside line in turn 1. And you see just all 4 cars get by just like that. As McLeese actually went up into the wall coming out of turn number 2. So now he's going to lose 4 positions and maybe 5 if Cologne can get by.
The Darlington stripe on the side of the 59 car for sure after that one. And look at all the spots he's going to end up losing because of that. Lap number 9 here. It seems like want to be on the outside coming out of turn number 4, but not really anywhere else as the 59 continues to lose positions to the 5 and the 22. And Henderson and Gordon have about a second and a half on 3rd place, which is now taken over by Mitchell Collins.
Collins having a fantastic start to his Turkey Hill Southern 500. Won 3 times a season ago, but it took till race 21 of that 32 race season before he finally got a win. From there, he won race 25 in the second half of the Watkins Glen doubleheader, and then won race 30 overseas in Motegi, Japan. But he has remained one of the best drivers in the series since then. Well, however, the points don't really show it, but he has had some pretty good runs here in this series, although many of them just have not panned out maybe the way he deserved it to. He's at 26th in the standings right now. I remember him running so well at Richmond, but then getting involved in an incident with 4 laps to go in regulation, ending up on his lid. And so looking for a good points day here at Darlington to get back up in the top half of the standings, as Cruz is going to get by McShane there, going off into turn number 1. Cologne, Nelson, and Andrews going to get by on the inside, and maybe Smith if he could close in a little quicker.
There's just no speed up there on the top lane, except coming out of turn number 4, but the zero continues to fall outside of the top 10 most likely. It's not able to get by McShane, and it looks like McShane will in fact hold on to that top 10 spot, currently scored in 9th.
And up front, Henderson catching back up to the backside of Gordon. These two are the only ones to have led laps here in the early going, coming about for lap 14 here at Darlington. The tires obviously wearing away, and so we're going to have to start thinking about pit cycles here sooner rather than later. Expect the first one to be in the late 20s, early 30s, and then the second one to be in the late 50s, early 60s, as is typical here for the 74 laps at Darlington. Boy, Durrani's getting shuffled on the outside by Brock Lewis, Kukulon, Samadio, Rose, and potentially Thibodeau.
Just like what we've been seeing several laps, find that grip on the outside. And Durrani around midfield right now. He almost won at Talladega. Almost went back-to-back years at Talladega, but he came up one spot short as Gordon and Henderson continue to battle. And I do want to bounce off of the fact that you said,
hello.
Looks like Gordon lost second to Mitchell Collins, and now it's Mitchell versus Mitchell up at the front.
Yes, it's the Mitchell and Mitchell show here at Darlington. I've been waiting all season to say that, and we finally get the chance to. Mitchell Henderson and Mitchell Collins 1-2. Elijah Gordon 3rd, trying to get back around the 43. And he is pressed against the backside of that shell Ford. He's going to make a move, heading off into turn 3. Is he going to be able to get around that 43 quick enough before they get to turn 4? Does not look like it. No, Collins will hold on to that spot. But will Vargas now be able to get by Elijah Gordon here?
This pattern of the top 2 pulling away from 3rd, 4th, and 5th few laps, and then 3rd, 4th, and 5th start getting more, start turning faster laps and catching up to them again. It looks like they're in the of catching up to him again. It looks like Stephen Colon has the fastest lap of the race so far. He's currently running in 7th. Idell, the 00 car, also up there at the top of that pylon.
Oh, here's John Andrews making him look to the inside of Stephen Colon. That is for 7th on the racetrack. Thompson will take 8th. Colon will fall to 9th. And Trey Smith currently rounds out the top 10 here at the Darlington Raceway on lap 18, coming around for lap 19. Mitchell Henderson has led the most laps so far here at Darlington, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, Harris up in the wall. 23 of Harris is up and into the outside wall, and he has a ton of Darlington stripes on the right side of that Toyota.
That's a little bit more than a Darlington stripe right there. He really got into the wall coming out of turn number 4, trying to get that run off the corner. Just hit a little too hard and got up into the outside wall.
And fell to at least the 21st spot on the racetrack as a result of getting up and into that outside wall. Meanwhile, Mitchell Henderson has a near 0.7 of a second lead over Elijah Gordon. And here's Cruz going to the inside of Collins, and he's going to take Vargas with him.
get washed up on the outside, it seems like it's always going to be more than one car getting by you. So you really got to make sure to be glued to the bottom of the racetrack, especially in turns 1 and 2. One's dropping back to 4th because he was not able to do that, and Mitchell Henderson, I'll tell you what, he's pulling away in that 88 car.
And behind this group, we see Andrews getting around Brock Nelson. Nelson slow on the outside, and so Keegan Thompson looks like he's going to be able to pounce on that opportunity in the 17 Tim Hortons Buick Regal. And he will be able to take the spot away. That is for, I believe it's 7th on the racetrack. Thompson still not able to get around that 18, but here comes Cologne behind. Nelson is going to have the jump off the outside like we've seen time and again today.
Great job by Brock Nelson defending that spot, getting that run out of turn number 4. He's going to hold on for now for the number 17 Buick, and these two fighting have brought in Blake Parker and Stephen Cologne as well. Here's Mitchell Collins. Who
and in the wall we go!
Into the wall.
Oh, goodness.
Contact.
Collins is getting a little impatient, I think.
He's lost that spot to the 5 of Andrews. Guess he was a little aggressive into turn number 3 and put them both on the wall.
But a ton of damage to the JBL Chevrolet of John Andrews. We'll see if the crew is going to have to do anything about it when the pit cycle comes along. 23 laps into this race, we've been green all the way. And again, expecting the pit cycle to come in the late 20s, early 30s. But Andrews there going to have to be a little bit concerned about the damage to the right side of that car now. Hard up into the wall, him and Collins. But now, as the tires continue to wear away here on lap 24, Gordon is starting to close in to Mitchell Henderson with or even without the help of Cruz, who is just behind that 24.
Yeah, that's continuing the pattern that we've seen all race. The leader gets out to a big lead, and then everybody closes back in on them. Gained another 10th that lap. Tires wearing away. I guess that effect has minimized a little bit, but there's Cruz in 3rd behind Gordon. He's going to try and make a move for 2nd heading into turn number 3. Hopefully the same thing we saw with Collins and Andrews doesn't happen again, and it won't, and it looks like Cruz will be able to take the spot away from Gordon.
You know what? That's the first time I think that we've been able to see somebody make an overtake coming out of turn 4. Cruz has made it work on Elijah Gordon, moving into that 2nd position, but now Mitchell Henderson has a 1-second lead over the 0.5 of Cruz, and again, pit cycles, I know we're getting closer and closer to that time. It's lap 26. We're coming around for lap 27 this time, and you can just tell how the pace has slowed up as this green flag run has gone on and on and on. But there's still plenty of side-by-side action that's going on. Here's teammates, Caleb Rose, Thomas Troxel side-by-side. Rose taking the 26th position away from Troxel. Troxel coming into this race 36th in the standings after a tremendous run at the Dover Downs 1 week ago, looking to try to get back up into the top half of the field, as I believe Mitchell Henderson come down the pit road?
I think he did. He's not the leader anymore.
He did come down the pit road. Okay. So Alejandro Cruz Jr. now leads. It's Mitchell Henderson, the first taker on the pit road. There he is.
Looks like it's only him this lap.
Oh, but it's not going to be this time. Here
in.
Comes everybody else. Or at least most of everybody else, as Keegan Thompson's going to stay out. Ace Garcia is going to stay out. Cologne, Sears, Zidell, Brock, Andrew Williams, Dale Lightning, Kyle McLeese stay out. Thibodeau gonna stay out as well. Harris, Teague, Monaco, Wright, Osgen, and Parrish. And I believe everybody else is down in the pits. We'll have to see if Henderson had a 1-second advantage before he came down the pit road, so I would venture to say that he is going to just cycle back into the lead, but we'll have to see. That might not be the case here.
The cycle, the first cycle of green flag pit stops. Looks like we might have one more later in the race. As the rest of the field starts coming in here. Oop, be careful, don't run into each other into the pits. But looks like they're doing a good job of not doing that so far. The pit road's pretty wide, so there should be room for 2 cars. There's the 88. 52, Justin Zeidel stayed out an extra lap. Led that last lap, and now he's going to come in and pit this time.
Bonus point towards the championship for Justin Zeidel. He will come down the pit road for some fresh Pirelli rubber and a full can of Sunoco fuel. Henderson, though, with an enormous gap over Alejandro Cruz Jr. in the 0-5. Don't know if these two guys are going to be first and second on the racetrack. We'll have to see the way it cycles through, but it certainly appears for the moment like that is going to be the case. That is an enormous gap.
Andrews up ahead of Mitchell Henderson, but I think he had an extended stay because of all of the damage he had on the right side from the contact with Collins.
And it's going to be
coming out of the pits now.
Just shy of 2.5 seconds. The advantage for Mitchell Henderson as Cruz runs second. Upton, I believe, is the lap down.
He's
Upton
not on the
is
lead lap.
40th, so yeah, they're not in contention for a top 5 position right now. But Vargas on those fresh Pirellis, as is everybody else, he's going to take the advantage to get down to the inside of Upton going into 1. And in the 3rd position, well, he didn't gain anything, but he's now going to try to take the 2nd position away from Cruz as they round turn 2. 3.2 the advantage for Henderson the last time by. Vargas has a rocket. And of course, you know, this is personal for him. The last time he and Henderson were in a battle for the win, it was Texas, and Henderson stole it away. Vargas is trying to get back up to the front and battle with Henderson and try to take this race away from him.
Henderson is still pulling away despite being on older tires, but I feel like that's because Vargas is dealing with traffic. He had to get by the 78 and also the 05 as Elijah Gordon is to the back bumper of Alejandro Cruz, and he might be looking to take 3rd shortly.
Vargas does close in now just a little bit on Henderson. Here's Gordon going after Cruz, going through turn 1 and 2, headed down the back straightaway. The 23 of Chase Harris, who had an extended stay on pit road as well because of when he got up into the wall. He is now 40th on the racetrack. Scott Upton moves up to 39th on the racetrack. So now the gap for the lead, 3.26. Oh, well, actually, 3.07. This is not what Vargas needs, though. Upton getting down to the inside. They're going to get around that 46, but it's not for a position. That's not what Vargas needs, though. That is the kind of thing that cost him the race at Texas Motor Speedway, but instead of Upton, it was his teammate, Ethan Lewis.
Yeah, I bet you it's frustrating for Christian Vargas that for the 2nd time this season...
Oh, and a smoker! It's Henderson blowing up from the lead! Can you believe it? Mitchell Henderson, the leader of the race, the dominant car in the first half, has blown something. What a catastrophe for Henderson. Oh, I don't believe it. What a heartbreaker.
I can't believe that happened.
What a heartbreaker.
I don't think this is going to bring out a caution because he's well off the racetrack and he's going to make it to the pits. But, man, that's a tough break for that 88 team.
And that moves Vargas to the point. Now he's a little less worried about Upton now, isn't he?
Yeah, but now he's got to be worried about Alejandro Cruz in 2nd. He still has to deal with that lap car who's racing him.
That is true. So Cruz now could be able to close in on Christian Vargas. Elijah Gordon having to deal with the lap car of Chase Harris, who is not off the pace despite having some damage earlier on when he got up into the wall. I think a little still remains on that 23, but ever so slight damage on that Toyota now. They've got it all squared away for the most part, and he is back up to speed. And Elijah getting stuck up on that outside line through 1 and 2 the last time through. That might have just shot his Pirellis all to bits.
Tell you what, Blake Parker in the 14, Alejandro Cruz's teammate, he's been slowly climbing his way through the field. Was in 6th, I think, coming out of the pits. He's up to 4th now, and he might be able to challenge Elijah Gordon for 3rd. So look for this 14 to maybe make a run here late in this run.
Collins pressed against the backside of that 14 as well, but he's been up front all race long. Still a tremendous run for Mitchell Collins here in the first half of this Turkey Hill Southern 500 as we've crossed into the second half of the race. And I guess it was, I don't know if it was fitting. It's just, we talked about Henderson being the dominant car of the first half, and oh no, now Lightning's gonna have a problem. But no smoke coming out of that car. It could be a blown tire on that 55, and Henderson has not been marked out of the race, but he is not on the racetrack anymore. We don't have a reason for what could have happened to that 88, but here's Lightning on the apron of the racetrack now on lap 41. The second issue that we've seen, mechanical or tire, don't know, but he's going to make it to the pits, and we will not have a caution. But Cruz and Harris nose to tail. Upton just ahead of Vargas could potentially be helping that 46 to pull away from the 05, as the 05 now has a little bit of competition from the lap down 23 of Chase Harris, who doesn't care. He's just trying to get back on the lead lap.
Alejandro Cruz had gained a lot of time the previous lap, but the last time they went by, he lost a lot of time. So I wonder if that 23 is negatively impacting the 05 in any way, maybe trying to race him or whatnot.
It could be also that Vargas is closing in more and more on that 78. Just saw just how close. Oh, caution's out.
Caution.
Big crash back straightaway.
Crash.
Truxell, Perez, Osgen, last week's winner in the 83. McLeese just barely gets by on the outside. And were there any others? Some damage on the 4 of Alex Lozano as well. A melee in the back straightaway involving at least 3 automobiles. And Christian Vargas's massive lead evaporates.
2-second lead is gone as at least 3 or 4 cars got together on the back straightaway. Man, ever since that green flag pit cycle, things have started to get really crazy, haven't they?
They certainly have, and unfortunately, for some drivers, that will be the end of their day. It could be the end of Braden Perez's. That is significant damage to that right front, and Truxell's got some enormous back-end damage there. But I suppose now would be the time we knock the second pit cycle out of the way. But you know something, this is going to put everybody really close on whether or not they're going to make it to the end or not. So we're just going to have to keep an eye on everything, because we might have a fuel mileage race on our hands like we did in Season 2. Especially if this thing goes green-white checker.
If this thing goes to overtime, I don't know if these guys are going to make it. I feel like if it's in regulation, so I just saw the 16 with Thomas Truxell head to the garage, so he is done for the day. A tough break for Truxell. Seems like if he's had any luck this season, it's been bad luck.
Yep, he is literally the TRCS version of Lenny Pond. But I don't know. I don't know what you say. He just had a tremendous run at Dover 1 week ago, and he follows it up with just how much bad luck can one be subjected to, as Christian Vargas wins the race off pit road, Cruz second, Gordon third, Parker, Garcia, Sear, McShane, Cologne, Sakela, Collins, Kukulon, Thibodeau, Samadio. And as you see the rest of the cars coming off the pit road, Lewis about had contact there with Biller. And 3 wide there with McLeese, Smith, and Andrews.
Nelson had a bit of an extended stay there. So,
there he is coming off the pit road there, the Super Cheap Auto 18.
Guess we should probably figure out what happened on the back straightaway, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. We'll let the officials sort everything out here. It might take a little bit, but hey, it's a good thing we have 2 laps after pit stops before we get the green flag. It'll be Vargas leading the way in the 46, ahead of Cruz, Gordon, Parker, and Garcia. Real quick, let's go back and take a look at what happened to bring out the first caution here in this 3rd annual Turkey Hill Southern 500. So, the first caution is out here at Darlington, and Thomas Truxell going through turn 1 and 2 as Eric Monaco gets to the inside, reminiscent of Season 2 when this kind of thing happened to Jamison Thole as Kaden Biller was trying to get around. Truxell blows something in that car, rounding turn 2, and slows up, coming around a corner exit, and behind cars, some cars are going to make it through, others will not. Here's Oskin trying to make the arc, slips up a little bit on the transition, not able to get around that 16, hits him, and then Perez, as Truxell bounces off the wall, nowhere to go, pow! Right on that right front sends Truxell airborne, and all 3 cars spinning out of control. Perez, Oskin down to the inside, Truxell stays up on the outside lane. Thankfully, nobody else running into that Mercedes. But last week's winner, Sam Oskin, the big loser in this, looked like had just found the momentum he's been looking for all season. Clearly not the case here with this incident happening. That may be the thing that brings the momentum right down to a close. But let's take a look now at full speed.
Up the first caution of the race, and looks like it's another mechanical problem. What happened to Henderson, and then the tire problem with the 55. Truxell blows up coming out of turn number 2, tries to get down to the apron. Oskin was there, and then Perez, hard, hellacious hit into the back end of the number 16 of Thomas Truxell. 47 and 16 destroyed. Looks like Oskin didn't get that much damage. He should be able to keep going as he almost comes up into McLeese. 47 and 16. Probably going to be day done for both those cars as they got absolutely destroyed in that collision, and that's more bad luck. Both of those drivers, especially Truxell, has just been having a miserable season.
Yeah, coming in,
starting to find the momentum, and that's going to end here.
Yeah, he's coming in 36th in the standings just after he had a tremendous run. I mean, a tremendous run at Dover Motor Speedway 1 week ago, and it just turned south once again here at the Darlington Raceway. Terrible season, awful luck continues, but the field is going to be in the hands of Christian Vargas for the restart here at Darlington. The track is clear, we're good to go, so let's restart the 3rd annual Turkey Hill Southern 500. Well, the lights are off atop the pace car here at the Darlington Raceway. Welcome back to your live coverage of the 3rd annual Turkey Hill Southern 500, race 11 of 26 here in the 2022 NOFSRL Trinity River Cup Series. Caution coming out for a grinding accident on the back straightaway involving Thomas Truxell, Braden Perez, and a few other cars were also involved. Mitchell Henderson falling out of the race from the lead, and we now know it is a clutch failure on that 88. And Truxell and Perez also falling out of the race. 35 cars on the lead lap. Chase Harris 1 lap down. Dale Lightning now 2 laps down as he apparently blew a tire just after the Henderson deal. It'll be Vargas, Cruz, Gordon, Parker, Garcia, Sear, McShane, Colon, Sekela, and Collins, the top 10, as they come around for the restart of the Turkey Hill Southern 500. Going to restart on lap 48 of 74, waiting for that flag to fly. And we're racing again at Darlington, 26 laps to go. Vargas, a good restart there on Cruz, and actually 27 laps to go here at Darlington. Cruz making a look to the inside of that 46, not able to get it going, but here is Gordon going to the inside of that 05, going to bring Blake Parker with him on the inside.
To make some moves here on the restart. Cruz going to try and get the run on the outside, and he will hold on to 2nd place despite Gordon's efforts. The top 5 remains unchanged for now, but it looks like the 7 of Antoine Sierra is going to lose a few spots on the outside. Same thing with the 82 of Sebastian Kugelon.
Yes, indeed. And Cruz is taking a look for the race lead up front. I think we had Thompson in the wall just coming off of turn number 2. Keegan Thompson, the 17, slipping back on the outside there in that Buick. And yes, a ton of damage to the right side of that car. Kugelon and Sears seem clean right now, but up front, here's Cruz going after Vargas for the lead. He's going to take it away going off into turn 1 and 2.
Alejandro Cruz with a smooth move on the inside through turns 1 and 2, and he will take the lead in the number 05 car. And look now, here comes his teammate. Oh boy.
Man, Caleb Rose got really tight there between Sear and Monaco. He got pinched. That was nearly disaster coming out of turn number 2. Thankfully, everybody is still going.
The 32 of Jacob Thibodeau, he's gone up into the side of the top 10. Haven't mentioned his name all day, yet here he is, and having a good run in the number 32. And here comes Blake Parker, Cruz's teammate, trying to make it an all-star speed team 1-2. I mentioned before the caution to look out for this number 14 car, and he's proving why.
And he's going to make the inside stick out of turn 4. So the outside lane not rubbered in yet on these fresh tires. So Parker will get by that 46 of Vargas as he continues to slip backwards. McShane to third, Cologne and Sakela, the 2 Polar Star teammates, 4th and 5th on the racetrack now.
McShane looking underneath. Parker trying to take the 2nd spot away, try to break up the All-Star Speed Team cars, but Parker gets a great run out of turn 4, and he will hang on to 2nd for now as Vargas looking to the inside of Sakela, trying to get back inside the top 5. Thibodeau's going to get under him, and maybe Ace Garcia, he can carry that momentum down the back straightaway.
And the Wisconsin Racing Incorporated teammates back here. Alpha B and Gordon had a little bit of a battle there for the 8th or 9th position on the racetrack. Alpha B the benefactor of that. McShane and Vargas now going after it there for the 4th position. McShane holding off that 46 in Thibodeau ahead of Garcia for the 6th position, but it's a half-second lead for Alejandro Cruz Jr. Blake Parker 2nd. I would imagine that Parker's not in too much of a rush to get around his teammate.
I imagine not. These two are really liking the fact that these guys keep fighting back here as Vargas loses a spot to Thibodeau. That'll put Thibodeau inside the top 5. And Vargas slips back to 6th after leading on the restart. Boy, you hate it for Christian Vargas there. Here comes McShane underneath Cologne for 3rd.
Give a call to Jacob Thibodeau, though. Lost 5 spots at Dover 1 week ago. Sits 117 points out of the championship lead coming into this race and running in the top 4 now as gets around Stephen Cologne, and Thibodeau is easily flying the banner high for Pacific Hamel Racing, still looking for that ever-elusive first career win. Could it come in one of the biggest crown jewels of the season here in the Turkey Hill Southern 500. Meanwhile, up front, it is Alejandro Cruz Jr. and Blake Parker, a couple of rookies there for All-Star Speed Team. Cruz leads the way, Parker 2nd, their teammate Ryan Durrani, the veteran of the stable, a little deeper in the field. There he is in the 10 in the 23rd position, just behind Alex Lozano in the 4, as he's stuck in behind a train with Rose Williams and Monaco. He's trying to work his way up to the front. He'd love to be up there with his teammates, but that's not the way things have worked out here. As here comes Parker. He's done waiting down to the inside for the race lead. He'll take it away, going off into 1.
Parker takes the lead over his teammate, and that will allow the 0 and the 32 and everybody else to go and catch up to Alejandro Cruz, as he did not get a good 1 and 2 because he was being passed. And now here comes McShane looking for 2nd. Looks like Priya won't get it that turn.
That is exactly what McShane and Thibodeau wanted, as you just see how much they've closed in. And here comes Cruz coming back after Parker, going into 1. He's not close enough to make the move, but he's still taking a look down to the inside. And not quite, but he could have a chance going off into turn number 3.
Teammates are not racing each other like teammates. They both want this win badly, and they both want to make sure that the 0 and the 32 don't get it. Or maybe somebody like the 99 or 46. Everybody's kind of getting back into this thing as here comes McShane trying to break up the two All-Star Speed Team cars, and she will do that. Move Priya McShane to second, move Jacob Thibodeau to third.
What is happening here in the second half of this race? Ever since that first pit cycle, things have just gotten so crazy, and the craziness continues to unfold here as we're coming around for 14 laps to go. Blake Parker leads, Priya McShane second, Thibodeau all over the backside of that 0. Here he goes to the inside, looking for second. He's going to take the spot away, and Cruz looking to get back around the 0. He will. Cologne there looking for fourth. He will not get there coming around turn 2.
How about Jacob Thibodeau? I think he restarted outside the top 10, and he has flown through the field, and now he's challenging Blake Parker for the lead in the final stages of the race.
And here he goes to the inside. Could he bring Cruz with him? Down to the inside of Parker, headed off into turn 1. Cruz will get down there, and Thibodeau will take the race lead here at Darlington. How about that?
An incredible drive, but he's going to have to hold him off for about 13 more laps. Alejandro Cruz and Priya McShane both go under Blake Parker for second. Thibodeau wants these guys to race each other as hard as they can so that he can pull away.
Out of turn 4 they come. Parker ahead of Cologne, and Ace Garcia looking to make a move on Christian Vargas down to the inside to bring Alphabee with him, as well as Marty Sakela. Vargas slowing on the outside, and his luck appears to have run out here at Darlington, at least for the time being, because remember, we pit right at about 30 laps to go when that caution came out. So it is now a question whether or not we are going to see a fuel mileage finish here in the Turkey Hill Southern 500, but then the question is, would Thibodeau be able to hold on? Would Cruz be able to hold on? McShane, anyone up here in this top 10, would they be able to make it to the end if a caution did not come out? And especially, you know, we're talking about, like, if a caution didn't come out with 5 laps to go in particular, because then we got to worry about going to overtime. If a caution comes out before then, and we don't have to go to overtime, I have a small feeling that these drivers would want to go ahead and come down the pit road just to make sure they're good.
Alejandro Cruz and Priya McShane battling for second with Blake Parker, and you make a great point. All this fuel mileage and uncertainty of making it, I feel like they will be able to make it so long as they don't go to overtime, but that just brings another level of craziness to this race as McShane looks again to the bottom of Cruz, but didn't quite get the run that she wanted. And Cruz is trying to close back in on Thibodeau, who's opened out to a pretty safe lead right now as we go inside, 10 laps to go here at Darlington.
Here's Garcia making a look to the inside of Stephen Cologne there for the 5th position on the racetrack. Alphabee going to get down below the 99, going through 1 and 2. And McShane may have not got the run that she wanted, but Cruz most certainly did, as he's closing in to the backside of that 32 of Thibodeau, coming around for 8 laps to go this time here at Darlington. Cruz, he's taking a look to the inside, but will he have enough time to get around the 32? He will! Here he goes! Cruz to the lead here at Darlington once again.
Cruz got an incredible run, had an incredible lap that time by, and now Thibodeau's trying to hold off Priya McShane for second. I'm not so sure if he's going to do that. He's going to try and minimize the damage by getting out in front of Blake Parker. He is definitely not out of this yet. He has slipped down to third, and Cruz finds himself back in the lead.
And here comes Thibodeau back to the inside of McShane, headed off into 1. Garcia to the inside of Parker. They're both going to take their respective spots, and Garcia's going to get a +1 there, getting around McShane as well. So move Ace Garcia to the 3rd position here on lap 68.
I haven't hardly mentioned Ace Garcia all day, and yet here he is with a chance of winning this Darlington. He's been around the back half of the top 10 for most of the race. This is the highest he's run all race long as we come close to 5 laps to go here at Darlington.
We'll have 5 to go the next time around, and you know, that number is going to start ringing in people's ears when we get within 5 to go. If we have a caution, we'll go to overtime. And you got to remember, you know, there's going to be so many cars. If anybody, most cars would not be able to make it to the end. And so everybody is hoping that they would have saved enough under that last caution. They've saved enough in this green flag run because it looked like everybody was going to be close at Dover 1 week ago. Ethan Lewis was not able to make it to the end of this one. Jacob Thibodeau is in a similar position that Lewis was in. Up front late, looking for a win to maybe put a staple back into what has been a rough season for him. Looking for a bright spot. He's taking a look down to the inside of the 0-5. Not able to make it stick, though, because Cruz is on that outside line coming out of 4.
Garcia is back behind him, too. He's got to make sure he doesn't lose second as McShane and Garcia try and challenge him, but Garcia's going to lose some spots on the outside lane. That time by, he's going to drop down behind Alphaby, fall outside of the top 5.
Alphaby into the top 5 there in car number 3. Thibodeau closing up to the backside of the 0-5 once again, coming around for 3 laps to go here in the Turkey Hill Southern 500. Here he goes, taking a look to the inside, looking for a launch to the lead. McShane's going to go with, and Thibodeau to the lead.
Jacob Thibodeau to the lead with 3 laps to go, but can he hold on? The runs we've been seeing from these guys, I don't know. We'll see if he'll be able to hold off McShane because McShane is flying. Here she comes.
Oh, they're both going to come down the pit road. Cruz stays out of the racetrack. Parker stays out of the racetrack. Parker and Cruz side by side for the lead. Coming around turn 4. 4-2 to go. Cruz to the point. Garcia's going to try to close in on the teammates. What a heartbreak for Thibodeau. And McShane as well. Garcia's going to get around Cruz. Will he have a chance to get around Parker for the race lead?
They even make it to the end. Are they going to end up pitting on this lap?
Garcia's slow. Here comes Cruz to the bottom. Cruz going to come down.
Pitting.
Parker comes down. Garcia's going to stay out. Cologne stays out. Coming to the white flag this time. Heartbreak and sorrow for the All-Star Speed Team teammates and Thibodeau and McShane, but the white flag comes out for Ace Garcia as Cologne tries to catch up to him. 1.1 seconds the difference. This could be the first win for Team Velocistar in 2022. Garcia has never won in this series. He raced in Season 1, he's back for Season 4, and he's gonna take his team to victory for the first time in 2022. A miracle at Darlington. Ace Garcia is a winner at last in the TRCS.
A run by Ace Garcia flew under the radar, but he had the fuel to make it. Steve Cologne will finish second. Eric Monaco is going to come home in third, it appears. This fuel mileage is going to completely scramble the top 10 for this race, and heartbreak for most of the leaders who could not make it. I thought they were going to be able to make it without overtime, but it seems like they weren't able to. This is one of the craziest races I have seen in quite a while.
Oh my goodness. It was Season 2 all over again. We had a fuel mileage finish then, and we've seen it again here in Season 4. What a crazy second half of this 3rd annual Turkey Hill Southern 500. Cologne, I mean, he wouldn't have had a second if those cars hadn't come down the pit road, so I'm sure he's happy about that. Great points day for Cologne. That'll move him up the standings aplenty. But only 8 cars finishing on the lead lap as a result. Elijah Gordon, the pole sitter, dejected, I'm sure, coming home with a 30th place finish, fell back early on, and had to come down in that last green flag run, had to come down the pit road, and Elijah Gordon, not the finish he wanted at all. But my goodness gracious, Ace Garcia, holy cow, he wins with an average race speed of 143.998 miles per hour, just a little over 0.8 of a second ahead of Stephen Colon. Eric Monaco comes home with, I believe, his career best in third. Andrew Williams in fourth, Kanan Biller fifth, and then John Andrews, Keegan Thompson, Colin Teague, Alejandro Cruz Jr., and Christian Vargas round out the top 10. And we scroll through the rest of the standings, and everybody here in that stretch, one lap down. Let's see, 9th place all the way back to 36th, one lap down. Lightning 2 laps down. Thomas Troxel, Braden Perez, and Mitchell Henderson, the only ones unable to finish this Turkey Hill Southern 500. But holy cow, I need you to describe what we saw today, Brennan, because I need to get my breath back.
Well, first half was pretty normal, and then the 88 blew the clutch, and ever since then, it just evolved into complete madness. And a lot of the guys up there in that top 10, a lot of the guys on the lead lap, we never mentioned even once in this race. Eric Monaco, Andrew Williams, Kanan Biller, Colin Teague. I don't think I heard their name at all in this race. We listed off who finished inside the top 10, and there's a lot of teams that are going to be coming out of this with thoughts of what could have been. Like the Pacific Camel Racing team with the 32 of Thibodeau, All-Star Speed team with both their cars not being able to make it at the end. 36 of Christian Vargas. I mean, some of these guys still got good finishes. Cruz and Vargas still finished in the top 10. And Blake Parker still ended up in 12th. But man, just think with a crown jewel race like this coming that close, just not having enough fuel, it's got to be rough for the teams to come home with.
Absolutely. And speaking of just I don't even know where to begin with this one, so I'm glad you took over on what we saw there. I will mention real quick, Nicholas Samadio finished 17th in this race. He came in only 8 points ahead of Trey Wright. Trey Wright finished 2 spots ahead, so Wright is probably going to be within 6 points of Samadio. McLeese finished 13th, so he's not going to overtake Wright in the standings. I don't think the top 2 is going to change. The top 3, however, not quite. Cruz finished 9th, McLeese finished 13th, but it's not going to be enough to change the standings that much. But we'll take a look at the standings in their entirety now here at Darlington. Congratulations to Ace Garcia. What an upset here at the Darlington Raceway. He takes home the trophy here in the Turkey Hill Southern 500. We'll take a look at your driver's points, your owner's points. We'll wrap it up here. We'll see you next weekend at the Kansas Speedway in Kansas City, Kansas. That should hopefully be a fabulous race on that 1.5-mile trail track under the lights for the first time since Season 2. We were in the daytime hours last year. That is not going to be the case this year. Back under the lights at the Kansas Speedway. Hopefully it is another epic. But thanks to Brennan Wilmington for coming on the call for this race. One more congratulations to Ace Garcia, driver of the number 52 Silver Patron Mercedes AMG. He's taking Team Velocity to victory lane for the first time in 2022. For everyone here at the NOFSRL, thank y'all for tuning in. Hope to see you next week at Kansas. Until then, y'all take care, stay safe, and have a good one. Welcome to the NOFSRL.